But boom, we are back. Shorts about nothing. Special Zoom edition. We told y'all niggas look on, be on the lookout for it. We are back, man. Say what's up, Dale.
What's happening? What's happening, baby? We are back. Back on Zoom, man. The first edition of this. The problem is, man, we live far away from each other, and sometimes we need to immediately react to some things. So this is why we started this series. That's why we started shorts about something, so we could come on, give a quick 15, 20 minutes before the long form content of really getting into the details. So obviously we here for the play-in tournament, the Warriors, Clippers, the playoff seedings has finally happened. Shout out to Rory McIlroy, won the Masters, finally got the monkey off his back. He's a Grand Slam
Facts.
champion. And then lastly, Gina Auriemma. She's the best coach ever across all team sports.
Probably,
All
yeah.
right. Ish. Well, before we get into all the details, we know what happened. The Clippers beat the Warriors to get that fifth seed, I believe. Yes, the fifth seed. Minnesota is a sixth seed, and the Clippers won the game 124 to 119. Immediate reaction right after the game. We're 2 hours removed.
Listen, 2 hours removed, definitely. Wow, what a game for sure. Seeding purposes aside, just great hooping on both sides. End of the game was great. Halftime, all the big moments. The stars played well. Um, Trouble for the Warriors, though. I mean, this is going into the playoffs. Three straight home losses. One of them very questionable to my Spurs. Shout out to y'all for that. The Harrison Barnes dagger. Like, you are kind of stumbling into a playoffs where you were poised to kind of sprint in it almost a week ago. You were almost the best team. I don't think anyone a week ago saw three losses coming right here for the Warriors. So rest up, Jimmy. Rest up, Steph, because in 48 hours, you got to go again.
Yeah, it was a really bad situation all around, from the turnovers late game by Steph, the missed Draymond layup, and then what happened a couple days ago with Harrison Barnes in the game winner. First off, we'll start with the Spurs just for a second, because that's why we're in this situation. The
Yep.
Warriors, if they win that Spurs game, are in the situations where the worst case scenario is they're the sixth seed. They win today, they're the fifth seed over the Clippers. They lose today, they would have been the sixth seed and played the Lakers. And now you're in a situation where it's when are you back to the play in, where the Warriors haven't had great success, if we being honest. They just
Sir.
have not had great success in
No,
those games.
sir.
Now, I do say this is the best team they have since going into the play in tournament, but you're playing a very good Memphis team, a Memphis team that has been playing very well down the stretch. And since the firing of Taylor Jenkins, Ja has come into form. So you just put yourself behind the eight ball. But the thing is like, usually when you're in these scenarios, it's like, oh man, they can't win the big one. But when you're in this Western Conference and it's seven finals contenders,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, you just lost a playoff game. Like, you lost game one.
Yeah, literally.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's not too much to hang your hat on, but it's frustrating because you kept hearing them say on the broadcast, the Warriors need this rest. They've been in playoff mode since the start of the All-Star break, excuse me.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest issue for me. You saw Jimmy went out with didn't come out, but he was limping around with the knee to his thigh. I know it's probably not something major, but that's a bruise you're going to have to deal with. Draymond with the neck injury, Steph with the hand injury. You just needed this rest, man. And so it's frustrating for them not to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially seeding wise, like you just mentioned, it is a little gap, but the difference between being a, 4, 5, 6 seed and coming in on the play in is now not only are you playing finals contenders all the way through the finals, you're going to be on the road all those series. And it's just a
Yeah.
tough hill to climb, especially for a team with so many minutes on it like this. Looking back just specifically on the game, like you just mentioned, with seven finals contenders, like you're watching the Clippers, like, yeah, they could win the title. Like, yeah,
Oh
everyone
yeah.
plays this well.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
sure. Like, and then they have players that would play on other teams that still don't. Like Patrick Baldwin Jr. would play. I mean, played for the Warriors a little bit, but if Harden and Kawhi are going to look anything like this, they win the title too. So in the West, every game matters. So stumbling versus San Antonio, like that's not something a champion does. Going like I just they're walking backwards when it feel like they were going to sprint through the finish line almost.
That's a perfect encapsulation of what this last week has been for them, is walking through the finish line when we thought we was going to burst through it in first place. And
Yeah.
it's frustrating to watch, but let's get into the game real quick and start on the Clippers side since we touched the Warriors first. What did you like from the Clippers that you're like, okay, maybe they
Yeah.
can go beat Denver. Maybe they can beat LA OKC. Like, what did you see from them?
Right. Ironically, it was from the one player almost on both teams that didn't play well, and it was Norman Powell. Norman Powell was like stinking it up,
Three
breaking
for
the.
12, I believe.
Yeah, he finished 4 for 13, but like for you to score 124 points, granted there was overtime, but you get big nights from Kawhi and Harden, and your third best player doesn't play well, and you're still in the game. Like I feel like the Clippers have so many options on offense, especially with Zubac and Harden, because he is like Luke in that way where if you have a good center, he makes that center great. If you have an okay center, he makes him good. And Zubac
Absolutely.
is in that good to great range. So not only is he playing great defense, he's getting easies on offense. Like he took 16 shots today. Like a lot of bigs aren't taking. I mean, Draymond won't take that in a week. So like they feel really balanced, and that is a really good defense.
Okay. I'm going to move to the two superstars because I agree with your point about Norman Powell. He is the third best player, even given night between him and Zubac. And
Yeah,
as you just mentioned, I think because of James, Zubac has been playing like the third best player as of late and has been making a case for All NBA. But the two superstars, we always talk about since we started this show, you want to feel comfortable that your best player can be the best player on any given night. And the plus is your number two can be better than their number two and sometimes even better than their number one. The
exactly.
Clippers are in that situation. Kawhi Leonard was the best player on the court for the first, I want to say, 36 minutes of this game. Steph, from the mid third, fourth to the overtime, looked like the best player in the world, damn near. But other
Yeah,
than that, Kawhi carried this game, won this game for the Clippers. James Harden does an excellent job of controlling the tempo. And so that's what I'm interested to see with the Clippers is can James continue to control this tempo and Kawhi just keep him in the game? Every time they need a timely bucket, Kawhi got it. Mid-range, boom. You want a three over Quentin Post? Boom, I got you. You want me to get to the free throw line and slow the pace down? I got you.
right.
So can that 1-2 punch play how they did for 4 wins in a playoff series? My answer to that question is as long as they stay healthy, they
Yeah.
can. Because the difference between the James Harden that has folded in the past, no shade, we love you,
Facts.
is he hasn't had a Kawhi Leonard. He's had a Chris Paul. He's had a Russell Westbrook. He's had a Dwight Howard. He has not had a Kawhi Leonard to really take the load off of his shoulders. Not like a kind of halfway, I really still got to be the best player, but for a quarter, maybe he can. Like, I really have somebody that can go get 40 and I can have a 17 and 12 game and we win this game. So
Yeah.
that is the positive for the Clippers is you're not asking James to be the James of the past with Kawhi Leonard in form that he is, bro, it's going to be hard to get it done. They got the Warriors in rotation so many times, and the Warriors gave up a lot of baskets off of just getting confused off of the rotation because James manipulates the pick and roll so well. If he gets downhill, the defense is now in rotation. And I don't see a team that's going to be able to contain that other than maybe OKC.
Right. I think everything you said is right. And just to highlight Harden, because I am definitely one of those people who highlight Harden's failures, but we have talked about his ability to play shooting guard and point guard. I think
Yes.
with Kawhi on that team, it allows him to really lean into that strength.
Mm-hmm.
Before, when you have to be the guy every night, it's kind of a weakness because if you go 20 points, 12 assist mode in a game they need 30 from, people are going to be mad at you. But now
Yep.
that he can win anyway, you're kind of seeing what you saw in Brooklyn when they were together. It's like, all right, I'm going to get everybody else their easies, but I'm still James Harden. So when I need to score, I'm going to score. And that's
Exactly.
kind of what you saw tonight. And that balance with him and Kawhi, I like the ebb and flow with it. Like, I do kind of prefer for the best player in your team and your second best player to complement each other. I really don't
Yes.
like duplicates. I like compliments. Like Klay Thompson is 6'7" at shooting guard. He's an oversized shooting guard, so
Yes.
he can make up for Steph on defense.
Yes.
Kawhi throughout this game made up for so many other people's little mistakes. It was amazing to watch, and if he can, so like you said, if they stay healthy and he can sustain that, like we do all these top five lists. I have not heard Kawhi Leonard's name in any top five list.
In a
He looked like
long
a top
time.
five player tonight. He looked
Absolutely.
like he looked like oh yeah, that might be the best player in the league right now. Like
Absolutely.
he looked amazing because he is still one of the best two-way players ever when he's locked in.
Without question, without question. There was a reason we were calling him Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant-esque when he was
Yeah,
at the in tip-top form. He
you
just
saw the
has not
pass
been
fake.
healthy.
You saw the
Come on
pass
now.
fake.
Come on now. He looks special tonight.
Yeah,
The only problem for me with the Clippers, and the only thing that concerns me with their Clippers is I don't love their bench. They had got less than 15 bench points tonight. I
Yeah.
don't know if that is just sustainable throughout the playoffs. Can you rely on your starters to play that many minutes every single night and every game matters and every minute matters like they do in the playoffs? I'm not sure, but at the same time, I can see a 20-point night from Bogey. I can see that. I can see Ben Simmons coming off the bench and giving you 7, 10, and 11 in a crucial game. So I haven't loved what I've seen from the bench, but there is room for, okay, maybe that can happen. And it's not a definite, okay, this bench is bad.
Yeah, what I would look out for, and of course, I know Ty Lue may see this if he wants to copy it. It's cool, friend of the show for sure. But going into the playoffs, I'm going to be interested if they put Norman Powell at 6 man and bring one of either Derek Jones or even Ben Simmons. If you got the stones to do it, to bring them into the starting lineup,
Mm-hmm.
if Kawhi is going to continue to produce like that,
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
Kawhi is going to produce like a number one option, you can let Norman Powell do what usually the third best player does, is carry the bench.
I love it. I love it.
Ty Lue is a guy who makes adjustments with everybody we've seen, put anybody on the bench. So if they do that, I think they could compete with almost everybody in the league.
Okay, now let's move on to the Warriors. We just talked about their stretch, but with Jimmy, I believe they're 18-3, something of that nature. They have a crazy record with Jimmy and Steph both on the court. Do you still have the confidence you did in them 10 days ago as you were picking them over the Lakers, saying they were probably going to the finals? Do you still have that confidence in them, or has this week stretch kind of reeled that back in?
I still have the confidence in them because I feel like despite them, like I said, stumbling in and losing 3 straight at home, they are, it's gonna sound nasty, but warrior style losses. There are losses where you can point to specific things like, yeah, everything was going great, and then we did some warrior shit right here. Like
Okay.
okay, we were getting pressed and we got frustrated, so we dribbled into a corner and tried to pass it over a 7 footer who's gonna be in running for all defense in the NBA. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a thing we didn't. And even the foul situation, we talked about it before we started the show. Like, I understand if you have the foul to give and you want to be aggressive with that, but for 2 possessions to end the fourth quarter and end overtime, you are down 1 score with, you're gonna get the ball back and you let them dribble the clock down, and then you use the foul, and now you're in a, they're gonna score and we need a 3 scenario, or we need the foul. Just, it was so many things. I mean, Draymond, listen, I'll let you talk about the layup, but it was so many different things. It was like, okay, this team easily has the talent to compete, and Steph Curry does have the ability to still be at any time the best player on the court, no matter who is on the court. And Jimmy got off for, this is probably his first game where we've seen play off Jimmy, and he played really well. So
Yes.
I think they'll be fine. They just have to make a couple tweaks.
I love what you said about these Warriors haven't been, you're getting beat. They've been all Warrior style losses. The Spurs loss, going up into the quarter, going up into the fourth, up 12 against a bad team, and y'all get lackadaisical with your passes, and then you can't buy a bucket. Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
Today, Steph turnover late in game, Draymond miss layup late in game. Surprise, surprise. Like a bad play call by Steve Kerr giving it to Buddy who hasn't played in 45 minutes. Surprise, surprise. Like, it's things that if this was the Rockets and they lost 3 games this way at the end of the season, you might be concerned. If this was OKC, you might be concerned. But because they've been doing this for a decade and overcoming it for a decade, I kind of look at it like all right, whatever. My problem and the reason I was so frustrated with the loss is because they needed the week off. They needed the rest. I'm not really concerned about them coming out of the play again. I'm going to be surprised if they lose to Memphis. If Jimmy is out, which I don't think he will be, if Jimmy is out and they lose to Memphis, not a shocker. But if they lost at home with the pissed off spirit, they're going to come into that game, I'm going to be shocked. So I expect them to get the 7th seed. And like I've been saying for a month now, there are 8 contenders in the West. They're at all at a percentage. Like OKC is probably the highest percentage. Lakers would be second for me probably right now because they're the hot. They get a week off. Warriors would be third or fourth. Denver's third or fourth. Clippers third or fourth, fifth. Like they're all in that range. And then you have Memphis, Minnesota, and Houston at the bottom. But if Minnesota beats the Lakers, I'm not surprised. Houston beat the Warriors in the first round, not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised if Memphis upsets OKC. I will
Yeah,
say that. But if
I,
Memphis upsets OKC, I'll no longer be surprised if they get to the finals. There's
yeah,
just great players all over this conference. There's great teams. It's matchup based. So this doesn't really concern me come playoff time the way they've been losing because Jimmy looked like playoff Jimmy tonight. And you
right.
lost off of your best player, Steph Curry, having 2 turnovers, and your second best player, our third best player, and Draymond missing a bunny layup. It's
Yeah.
like, are we really going to lose that many games like that?
And
I don't
on
think
the
so.
and even on the layup, just to and it's gonna sound like glazing, but just one more like nuance to Kawhi game. Like Draymond always jumps back into that person when he catches that shot.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Kawhi backed up and it threw Draymond off. Like
Yes.
just the IQ to know he's gonna catch this and jump into me. Like and Dre, of course you would love to see him just, catch and finish strong, but you take the good with the bad. But even early in the game, like Steph picking up 2 fouls early, Draymond reaching early, like I understand, playoff atmosphere, but at the same time, refs are still calling it like it's regular season. Like they
Yes.
still
Yeah.
calling fouls. So
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine moving forward though.
I agree. I'm not worried. Seeing Steph drop 30, what was it? 30, was it 39, I believe?
Oh,
36.
yeah.
36 and 6. Like with the hand splint, all right, cool, he's good. Seeing playoff Jimmy, because Jimmy hasn't had an aggressive game yet. That's what we were speaking to earlier, is that playoff Jimmy, the I'm gonna go get 30 Jimmy, we haven't seen. We saw him tonight, and it looked like it came within the rhythm of the offense. He really kept them in the game. Him and BP kept the Warriors in the game until Steph came in off the heater and went ballistic in the fourth and OT.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about them. If they win the play-in game on Wednesday, which I expect them to, I do expect them to beat Houston in a very tough series. We were talking about how I don't
Yeah.
really want them to match up with Houston because of the athleticism and just the toughness, but I think just the rivalry they have with Houston, they want to keep that going and they want to keep beating them in the playoffs, and also just the experience that's going to come with Steph and Draymond and Jimmy in the playoffs. I just don't see them losing to a first year playoff team that's just won 50 games and just come into their zone.
Yeah, I am. Listen, the playing. Listen, I am very torn on it. Both sides of it are. We have Steph Curry. We should not duck any matchup, and I do feel like he would be the best player on the court every single game. But the Rockets are very scary in that I would, and I really mean this, rather, if you could choose, I would rather they play OKC just because I feel like that matchup would be better with them. I
Wow.
do believe the Rockets are the younger team, or not the younger team. They for sure are the younger team, but I do believe Ime Udoka's championship level coaching, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, they have a lot of veterans that I feel like OKC doesn't have that stability top to bottom the way the Rockets do. I feel like OKC would be closer to crumbling on some young shit, like doing some young shit, than the Rockets would be, just because Fred VanVleet won a championship as a point guard starting. Like he controls the game. Ime Udoka is a great coach. They're going to be prepared. I'm going to be interested. That would probably be the most interesting first round series because I feel like either of those teams could win the conference easy.
I honestly don't agree that it's the most interesting first round series because I think all of them are equally as interesting. Like that's how good I think the West is. Like
Yeah,
the
that's right.
the Minnesota and LA series interest me because of the Minnesota size
Yeah,
and Ant's ability to get downhill and the lack of rim protection on LA's best lineup. And
yeah,
I know Ant. Ant is going to be like, make Luka come guard me every time, every time.
oh,
And Rudy Gobert ended the season with 35 and 17. Am I expecting that consistently? No. But can Rudy Gobert average 18 and 18 in that series and help them win that?
yeah,
Absolutely. Can Julius Randle, with the lack of size, produce in a way he hasn't in the playoffs? Absolutely. Move on to the Denver and Clippers series. Same thing. Like, can Jokic just be Jokic, or does the ISO and the constant pick and roll with Zubac guarding Jokic and
mhm,
not really having anybody to stop James or Kawhi? Like, how does that play out?
yeah,
Aaron Gordon and Kawhi, beautiful matchup. And then you have the Clippers and the Rockets, Clippers and Warriors, who Houston and Warriors, who I absolutely think are an equally as interesting series. So that's just why I don't think this is the most interesting series. They're all just like this is what we want. This is peak hoops.
And
This is the rating problems fixed. That's
yeah,
what this is.
1000%. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like ratings problems fixed when the games start to matter. Like as soon as the games get important, the ratings come back. But of course, with all these teams being even, the one thing you gotta look out for is the X factor guy, like the guy who's like, yeah, he was on our radar.
Steph Curry.
But yeah, like a guy who's kind of on our radar, but like someone who takes a crazy leap who nobody kind of pinned to that. Like if Jalen Williams could play like a superstar for 2 rounds,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
they win the championship? If Austin Reeves can play like an all-star for 2 rounds, can they win the championship? Like
Yeah.
people like that. Like who is gonna? It looks like Podge right now, unfortunately. But like who of these players who really want to make a name haven't can do with this playoffs, and that's really how it's going to be decided. Like Norman Powell, we mentioned him earlier. Like this has been his best season playoff experience. Can he have a crazy series? Like
Yeah.
who's going to be the one guy that's going to ruin somebody's offseason?
All right. So let's touch on all the playoff matchup real quick before we get out of here. And before that, I do want to get back. I want to say my piece on the Warriors Houston matchup and why I prefer Houston over OKC. Simply put, you are correct. I believe more young mistakes will happen with OKC in the playoffs than Houston. But where I am torn between, all right, this is why I would rather play Houston is, my favorite thing about teams in the playoffs and the teams that I think are going to go far in the playoffs is, I say it every year, who creates easy shots?
Right.
And because of Shea, they will create more easy shots down the stretch and in pivotal points in the game than I think Houston will be able to generate. It won't surprise me if Houston has multiple stretches of bad offense because they just don't have the go get it guy at all times. Jalen Green can be that guy. Yes, I know he can. But is he always? No. We don't talk about him in that top 10 to top 15 range. That's the type of guy I'm talking about. And because Houston doesn't have that, plus they're young, I like that recipe more to beat than I do the young team that may make a few mental errors. But when it's time to get an easy basket, they got a guy nobody has proven to be able to stop all year. So that's why.
I definitely like that. I think that's perfect into the X Factor conversation because Jalen Green for the Rockets, if he can be a number one, can they win the championship? So that's
Exactly.
perfect. I completely understand. Yeah.
All right, so let's jump to the East since we've been stuck on the West and just run through these matchups that are set in stone. We won't touch the play-in for a minute. Well, actually, we can touch the play-in real quick. Hawks, Magic, who you got in that play-in?
Always Trae Young, always the Hawks.
I'm going Trae Young.
Trae Young, play-in Trae Young, one of the best players ever.
I'm going Trae Young as well. I'm going the Hawks to get the 7th seed and play Boston. 9-10, Heat versus Bulls. Who you got?
I'm going to go the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls have been kind of playing well together. Kobe White, Josh Giddey, they are moving in the right direction. I feel like they're gonna beat the Heat here. I feel like
completely agree. I like the Heat's defense. I like the Heat's in tough matchups, but the Bulls have home court advantage. Kobe White and Josh Giddey have been amazing, and I don't think the Heat have enough offensively. Right. Switch to the West, 7-8, Memphis, Golden State. Who do you have in that?
Warriors for sure. Warriors for sure. Experience, talent, get back, all rivalry, all that.
This is a game where I think, kind of like how it happened tonight, just a few plays here or there, and all-star Hall of Fame level game between Kawhi and James. Steph Curry and Jimmy will be we got to have this more than anything, and I think that version of them is better than anything Ja and JJ can get to right now, so I'm going with Golden State in this one. 9-10, Dallas, Sacramento. Who you got?
Man, we both lose. I mean... I'm gonna go Dallas because of AD. I feel like he's gonna be the best player in the court, but man, they're just gonna get steamrolled.
I believe this game goes to Dallas, and my caveat is the Warriors do not want to see Dallas in that second playing game. The Warriors have to win this game. There's one person who completely wrecks that offense, and it is Anthony Davis. They do not want to see Anthony Davis in that second playing game. They must get the job done. The Memphis can beat Anthony Davis because they have the bigs to stop him, and they have the offense to contain him, but Warriors don't want to see him. So I got Dallas. All right, 3-6 in the East. We got the Knicks versus the Pistons.
Yeah.
We're going to get into this more on episode 114 on Wednesday. That's coming out Thursday. So we don't have to really break down the series. We'll do that in the episode. Let's just go through and pick them and give a quick reason why you're going with the team.
I'm gonna go. Listen, I'm gonna go Detroit basketball. I feel like
Shout
hey,
out Barry, baby.
shout out Barry, man. Shout out Barry for sure. I feel like the Pistons. But listen, it's gonna sound crazy. Pistons might have the best vibes in the league right now. Like
Hello.
every if it's not OKC, it's the Pistons. I feel like they are trending in the right direction, and I feel like they are physically a bad matchup for the Knicks with how big they are and how big Cade is. I feel like Jalen Brunson is gonna have a hard time defending and being anywhere on defense versus these two, and they got a Thompson twin. So
I am agreeing with my boy, with my partner, Ish. And I'm going with the hometown team for my partner on the network, Mr. Barry.
that's what's up.
Detroit
All right.
basketball.
Shout out
You
Taco
feel me?
Podcast.
You feel me? I'm going Detroit, man, for everything Ish said. And lastly, I saw an interview today, and I've seen him say it more than once this year. Cade wants to prove he is the best player in the world. Cade wants to prove he can be the face of the NBA. And Cade wants to prove he is one of the top 5 or 6 guys in this league.
Yep.
There's an argument he should be first team All NBA this year. Last year, they were a 14-win team. This year, they won over 40 games, have avoided the play-in, are in the 6th seed, and have a realistic chance at winning their first round matchup. He has been incredible. I think he will be the best player in the series. He will show you why it's better to have a big guard as your best player rather than having a Jalen Brunson style. I think the physicality messes with Cat and that defense. That Cat and their offense. And lastly, Tibbs pisses me off. They play their players too much. I
Yep.
do believe that will come back to haunt them.
Yep.
And they will lose the war of attrition in the series. And for that reason, I'm going Detroit. Shout out to my boy Barry.
Sorry, nothing.
3-6 on the other. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. 3-6 on the other side. 3-6 on the other side. Minnesota, LA. Who you got?
I can't. I just can't choose not LeBron, Luca. I just, as good as I feel like Ed is gonna be, the two best players in the series will be Luca and LeBron. I feel like the entire series. I feel like LeBron's a tough matchup for Julius Randle on defense, but LeBron don't play the defense. I think it'll be. I just can't trust Rudy Gobert versus Luca in the series.
I agree. I agree, bro. I love Minnesota. I would love to see Ant get this done,
Yeah,
but it's hard for me to see a series with Luka and LeBron James losing to anybody other this year than Boston, OKC, or Golden State.
yeah,
Just being honest, I don't. And the reason I say Golden State because I know they're not on level OKC or Boston is just because Steph is Steph and they understand each other. Playoff Jimmy combined. I don't think Minnesota has the personnel to get this done. Why? Is because of them last 6 minutes. I trust the Lakers to create more great shots than Minnesota. And although Minnesota has a size advantage, Ant will be able to get downhill at will. I can see Ant settling too much. I can see Gobert missing layups that he shouldn't. I can see Julius Randle taking a shot or two that he shouldn't because that's what I've seen from them in the past. I know last year they were in the Western Conference Finals, but that was a different edition of this team. So for
yeah.
that reason, I'm going LA to move on to the next round.
Right.
Let's jump to 4-5 in the East. Pacers, Bucks.
Yeah. Give me. It's crazy. I think we picked three straight upsets, but I give me the Bucks. I think the Bucks are gonna get it done. We're gonna see about Dame how healthy he is, but I think the Bucks are gonna have the best player on the court easily. Giannis, of course, they have the playoff experience, and I don't trust the Pacers. Like we mentioned, players closing games late. I don't know if I trust Halliburton to close games late if he's forced to score and be aggressive. I like oh my god, what's the small forward's name? Is it Siakam? Siakam?
Kuzma?
No, on the
Oh,
Pacers.
on the Pacers. Yeah, Siakam. My
Yeah,
bad.
I like Siakam in isolation late, but I don't trust him more than I trust Giannis because I like if Giannis wins 2 games by himself, nobody's surprised.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going Bucks. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I'm going Bucks. Giannis has been ridiculous the past few months. Not even the past few months. The past month, he has been on a streak of madness, averaging like 30, 10, and 8 over the past month. He has been madness. Almost had a quadruple double the other night. Had a crazy triple double the other night. He has been on a tear, and like you said, he's too good. He's on that list of if he willed his team to a championship this year, you can't be too surprised.
Right.
So for that reason, I'm going Milwaukee. 4-5 on the other side. Denver Clippers. Who you got?
Give me the Clippers, man. Give me the Clippers. I feel like the Nuggets are definitely one of the. I feel like the Nuggets are just like the Warriors. They kind of backed into the playoffs, but they don't have Steph Curry. They don't have multiple champions on their team. I feel like are going to step up. I feel like with the injury question, the coaching question, the Clippers. I feel like this might be of the series the shortest series we might get at 4-1, 4-2.
I completely agree, Ish. I was about to say I'm picking the Clippers, and I'm actually picking the Clippers in 5 games. The coaching change has a lot to do with this, but also the connection between James and Zubac.
Yeah.
You saw the Clippers. If it wasn't Kawhi ISO, James Harden was going pick and roll.
Yep.
Every possession.
Mm-hmm.
Every possession. Like Jokic is going to touch the ball every possession. Either Kawhi is going to get an offensive, is going to get an ISO, or James is going to pick and roll. And I love those two options.
Facts.
And because Jokic is going to be forced to be in the pick and roll so often, I think they're going to put so much pressure on him. He's just not going to have enough on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think Russ will be enough. I don't think MPJ will be enough. He got benched today. I don't think no Jamal Murray and the rest of the guys. I just don't think Aaron Gordon, I don't think it'll be enough to combat the two superstars and the borderline combined Zubac and Norman Powell superstar together. We'll call it that. So I just don't think they'll be able to overcome that. I got the Clippers in 5, honestly.
All right, bet. Yeah.
All right. Now we'll do picks on the show. We'll do picks on the real show Wednesday. All right. So that's all we have today. We actually went a little bit longer than I thought we were. We're at 33 minutes. So we'll cut Gino and we'll do Gino later this week. We'll probably do an episode just for him, a quick little 5 or 10 minutes, because I do want to give him his flowers and also talk about the Final Four on the other side and ask Ish a few questions about college basketball. Episode 114 is coming Wednesday. We should have Jeremy on more than likely, so be looking out for that. Episode 3 of Off the Top Rope Pod will be out on Wednesday as well. Our episode 114 will be out on Thursday, excuse me. Episode 2 of the Off the Top Rope Pod has already been out. We have an interview with Nico that just dropped as well, episode 112. And then episode 113 will be out by the time you guys see this as well. So please just go tap into everything. We are working, obviously. Ish, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shorts about something. Episode 3 is in the books. We love you. Thank you for joining us, and please subscribe.